Advertisements for a new car claim that a tank of gas will take a driver and 3 passengers about 360 miles. After researching on the internet, you find the function for miles per tank of gas is this, where X is the speed of the car in miles per hour. So obviously, right, there is like city MPGs and highway MPGs, and that depends on how fast you're driving and how much you're slowing down and so on and so forth. What? Well, usually the average weight of the car doesn't change that much. What speed optimizes the distance the car can travel on a tank of gas? How far will the car travel at the optimum speed? Okay, so this is X is the speed of the car in miles per hour. Okay, and f of X is the number of miles you can drive. So let's see here. You want to find the maximum, right? So what would we have to do here? First, you have to graph this one. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and graph? Where did I? That might have been the mistake. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to our function. Which is where? Okay, so this is our function. So it says, right, if f of X is the distance, and we're talking around about 360 miles. So we're not going to see anything here, right? We're not going to see anything here because we're at we're from 0 to 10. So let's go and change this window. And let's go for the y max from -5 to 5. Why don't we go from 300 to 400? All right, so you have to modify with respect to, how do you know? Okay, and also what about your speed? What about your speed? You want to make your X about 0 to, you're never going to be driving negative miles per hour, and you're not going to be driving 10 miles per hour, right? So why don't we make it until about 70, maybe even 100? Why not? Okay.
Don't learn driving habits from this weekend.
No. So here we go. Do you see now how we have a perfect curve? So you have to optimize your window to fit the situation that you're working for. All right. So now when I do second calc and I want to find the maximum for, this is the left bound. The right bound is somewhere about here. Enter. Guess, enter. And right there. So there is a maximum MPG at 69.9 at 70 miles. And what is the maximum miles that you can drive? 362.5. So going back, all right, you say that, okay, maximum mileage, distance is 362.5 miles when driven at 70 miles per hour. In function notation, it's, oh my God. it's f of 70 is equal to 362.5. Okay? Now, I want to talk about one other thing here. Average rate of change. Okay? Rate of change. So, for example, your speed. Okay? Let's say you drive 300 miles and it takes you, I don't know, 4 hours to do it. So what's your average speed? It's the entire distance that you drove over the entire time that it took you. Okay? So when you have a curve like this, okay, the average rate of change between 2 points okay, so the average rate of change between 2 points here and here, okay, what's another word for rate of change?
Slope.
Slope. So the average rate of change from between, x equals x1 and x2 is the slope of the line that you draw in between them. Now, if your curve is like this and you draw the slope or you draw the line connecting the 2 points, it passes the curve at 2 points. This is called a secant line. Okay? Now, in order to find the average rate of change, this is the formula. So, what you have here is your x1 and your x2, and you have your y1 and your y2. So this is an interval here. This is an interval x1, x2. So we're basically looking at -3 to -1. What you want to do now is you want to find f of x1 and you want to find f of x2. All right? What's another word for f of x? Y. So if I have f of x1 and f of x2, what is that? y1 and y2, right? Meaning, if I do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, what have I found? Slope. So I find f of x1, which is f of -3, and this is the equation that I put it in. If I put -3 into that equation, what do I get? -2 times 9 minus 12 plus 6. How much is that? -18 minus 12 is -30, -24. F of x2 is f of -1, which is -2 minus 4 plus 6, which is 0, right? So now, average rate of change is the slope of the secant line. That's what that means. F of x2 minus f of x1 over x2 minus x1. So plug and chug. F of x2 is -24, 0, minus -24 over -1 plus 3, what is it? 12. Okay? So now, the homework here is gonna be due Thursday is when I see you next. So it's gonna be due Thursday, what's the date?
So both of the homeworks
Thursday the 1st. Yes, so both of them are gonna be due Thursday, October 1st. All right, so assignment 1.3 and 1.4. All right, have a great weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.